Insurers and reinsurers operating within the Middle East and North Africa are facing a challenging operating environment, but the region retains its allure according to a recent report by AM Best. I'm Yvette Essen for AM Best TV, and I'm joined by Mahesh Mistry, Senior Director of Analytics for AM Best. Mahesh, can you explain to me a little bit about the political and the economic environment that companies are facing?
Yeah, the operating environment within the MENA region is extremely challenging. So we have issues not just on the economic front, the political, and on the insurance side as well. So when we look at the economic basis of these countries, the GCC is very much dependent on oil revenues to stimulate growth. Now, with the depressed oil prices that we have seen, the level of growth have decreased in recent years, which means that the level of infrastructure development imposed by the government has reduced, and that is a concern to insurance companies. In addition to that, we have the political backdrop. As we've seen over the last 10 years, that there's been a lot of turmoil in the market, and more recently this has been magnified by the issues Qatar has with a number of countries. And then, to add further note to it as well, we're seeing the strains on the insurance side where there is heavy competition and pressure of margins as well.
There are lots of difficulties there that you've outlined, but looking forward, looking on a positive front, are there opportunities as well for the sector?
Yes, despite the difficulties that the market is facing, the growth that the MENA region has experienced is still above that of mature markets. In addition to that, penetration rates are low. If we look at the penetration rates within the MENA region, they're lower than many emerging markets in itself. So with the increase in penetration rates, the introduction of more compulsory insurance, this should help growth and stimulate the market further.
Can I ask you about one of the trends in the regions, which has been M&A activity? Is it a particular type of company that's engaging in mergers or acquisitions, and why are they feeling the need to do so?
Mergers and acquisitions is an interesting subject in the market, and there's been numerous mergers and acquisitions in recent years. But I think what's particularly interesting is that most of the activity has taken place by local players, and we've even seen the conventional insurers go into the takaful space by acquiring takaful companies as well. But while we see many mergers and acquisitions are down to synergies and economies of scale, we feel that within the Middle East region it's more down to access to distribution and to have licenses to gain access to particular markets. But in addition to that, we have seen some, say, further high-profile acquisitions with, say, Cigna acquiring Zurich's licenses in the region to have access to a broader network there as well. So while there is some acquisitions from international players, the majority of them have been interests from the local parties. I think there will be more M&A activity over the course of time. The markets are very fragmented, companies are suffering, they cannot achieve economies of scale, so I think with time we are going to see less companies in the market.
Another theme in recent years has been investment volatility, and that's something that AM Best in particular feels quite strongly about. Can you explain to me what it is with regards to investment profile that we're looking at in particular?
Investments are particularly important to the MENA markets. If we look at the profile of investment companies, a number of companies have high exposure to equities and real estate markets. When we consider the capitalisation of companies, these are some of the key drivers in terms of their capital requirements. Now, when we have volatility in the economic situation and the political situation in these countries, it does create further fluctuations in the asset and real estate prices, which invariably affects insurance companies' operating performance and balance sheet strengths over time.
Mahesh, thank you for explaining that. A copy of AM Best's report looking into these trends in the MENA region can be found on www.ambest.com. For AM Best TV, I'm Yvette Essen.